There is so much to show on the farm right now. I'm really excited. But first, it's been like 6 weeks since I released a video. That's a long time. I have been really busy. I've been trying not to fall behind on the farm. And, you know, I want to like film an update to show everything that's like going on here. It's like really exciting. There's like so many different areas to show off. But I'm really tight for time. So this is going to be a new one for me. This is going to be a 0 editing video. That's a little bit intimidating because I've never tried that before. So tell me if you like this format, because at least I can get a video out and I can break that 6-week streak. But anyways, let's start right here. Greenhouse. I'm moving all the greenhouses and I'm doing some upgrades on them so that the water doesn't pool on the top like it used to, and so that I don't bang my head on the tops of the greenhouse all the time. The plan is, this is a greenhouse. There's going to be an identical greenhouse there. Eventually there'll be another one up there. Over here, let me flip the camera. There is already the greenhouse that's been up, and then there's going to be a greenhouse going right here, and then this will be like my turnaround spot for like backing up my truck, and a compost pile spot. Cool, right? Like, that's cool. It's taken a lot of effort to reorganize the way that the farm is. I've been working my butt off trying to get all this done. Okay, so next thing here, let's start showing you how the farm has changed. I pounded all these wooden stakes in so you could kind of see a visual representation of where the farm is. So this part of the farm isn't changing too much. I'm extending the grass moat a little bit. I'm making this a bit wider just to try to like keep the grass and the weeds from creeping into the farm area. But then you can see down here, the farm is being extended. So each bed's getting like, I don't know, like 15 feet extra in space. I'm just like, everything should be a space for a perennial, right? That's the idea, okay? And then in the middle, did a lot of work to like get the path really level, and I'm just kind of like letting the grass grow back into it. So like I took rocks out, I took like seedlings and like Chinese elm stumps out. The idea is now I can take care of that just with like my lawnmower, and it's going to be easier to control. And I want to get the weed pressure down. So like over here, I did the same thing, tilled it, took rocks out, made it, you know, passable with the lawnmower. Easy, you know, weed control, right? Instead of having the seeds blow into my farm constantly. It's one of those things that takes a long time to do, but it makes, you know, like a lot of difference. Okay, so I'm excited about that. Basically everything I'm doing is trying to make the farm like more easily manageable. And then behind me is the food area. This is all going to be food. I think it's about 3,500 square foot plus space for a like 30-foot long greenhouse. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to put some perennials in here too. Like, I'm going to move the rhubarb down here. I've got strawberries here. There's going to be some choy that's going to be going in here really soon. Very exciting. I'm really excited about the food area. I've got some people that are going to come and like help me out just with like the food stuff. And then, you know, they can take some food and then I can grow some food for the food bank and donate it there. Not really interested in selling food other than maybe like a little bit here and there if people are really, really wanting some. Okay. Lots more to talk about, but I don't want to get too hung up on anything. I tried to film a video yesterday and I talked for 2 hours about how cool the farm is. So this one, I want it to be a little bit more, you know. So here's the peony. Look, peonies. This is so exciting. These ones are a little bit further behind. These are some earlier varieties. So it looks like the peonies are doing really well. I'm super excited. Here's the ones that are the earliest and the oldest, as far as this is their 3rd year. And they really produced well last year, so they should do some pretty good stuff this year. Look how big these ones are. Oh my God. You know, every single one of these could be a $3 bill for me. You know, every one could make a bloom, at least. That's $3, $3, $3. I see $3 bills everywhere. Okay, my delphiniums, where the delphiniums were last year, and there was a lot of them planted here. You know, obviously there's a lot of not delphiniums, just dead stuff or weeds that are still here, but some areas actually survived okay. And so more have come back than I thought there would be. There's also some in like that are a little bit later variety, and they kind of come up and they look red. So I don't think they'll pick up on the camera as well. Here was a pretty big patch of like nothing surviving, but there's another little patch down here of the delphiniums. I did a count, and I think there's like 160 last time that I counted plants that I saw. So, you know, considering I had completely written them off, I'm going to call that, you know, a bit of a win. 160 plants is nothing to laugh at. Okay, so here's a better view of the expanded farm. Okay, so before it would have ended right about there, and now it goes all the way to here. You know, here's the path that I'm going to leave open between the two. And now this side will be like, I think this will be about 65 feet beds. And then these are like around 70-foot beds. So, you know, that's great. And what the idea is like all the perennials are getting moved to the bottom of the farm. This is just going to be perennials that I'm going to just start from the bottom, fill up everything, and see where I go to, like towards the greenhouses. And then whatever space I have left up there, that's like the annual production area more so. You know, so I'm expecting perennials to be, because it's like sedums, the grass, the delphiniums. I'll probably leave a bit more space for I'll probably leave like a couple more beds for delphiniums. And then I'll probably do lupins, and then like roses. And then there's like lots of like random perennials, like the anise hyssop needs a lot of space, the bee balm, all that kind of stuff. Like the yarrow, I'm gonna start moving everything, you know, to fill these beds. And I imagine I'll probably fill it all the way up to about there. And then that'll leave me 20 beds or so for maybe I should leave more than that, because like I need a lot of beds just for the sunflowers every year. But I did a count. There is 70 beds on this side of the farm. That's like 4-foot space wide. And on the other side, there's 12 beds for the veggie area, plus the greenhouse. So, you know, like that's the general idea. There's perennials that are up at the top of the farm, and I'm still going to keep that area, but I will, in one of those areas, I'm going to dig up all the perennials after they bloom this year and just start putting them down there. It'll give a good reset to the area because it's all overgrown with grass anyways. So it'll be a nice way to, like, you know, clean everything up. Okay, now this is like one of my tulip areas, and there's hyacinths and there is glass. So the hyacinths just got in the ground in the spring. So like I am not expecting much from these. I'll probably just end up selling the bulbs for a little bit of a profit and call that a win. The tulips, you know, you can see there is some like entire areas where that entire one got like devastated by voles. You know, these are good, these are good, these are good, voles, these are good, these are good, voles. You know, there's a lot of like loss last year to the voles. Over there as well. Let me show you why I don't actually care that much about the loss. It is what it is. But if you look over here, these raised beds are going to get taken out this year after these tulips bloom. And I don't know what all of these are. These are ones we planted in the past. But like, you know, there's blossoms here. Like we're going to have some buds. We're going to have some flowers. And then that's just like a small amount of what's going on over here. This is my door for the greenhouse. I've got 3 of these. So that's 3 front doors. I'm going to make a little sliding door system. Okay, you can see these 3 beds, they're getting taken out because this is going to be a greenhouse spot. But like, these are all like yellow pomponette. And like, look at all those buds. And I think this is all yellow pomponette here. And then I don't know what the varieties are from there, but like there's bulbs, or there's, sorry, I'm on another planet this morning. There is buds. You know, some of these Some of these are landscape varieties. So like I will get what I get from them. I'm not like overly concerned one way or the other. This year is still going to be like a little bit of a practice year. This is the area that I'm talking about, like digging up. So this is all perennials, and there's lots of good stuff in here. There's like phlox, and there's goldenrod. There's like a whole section that's just like mint fillers. There's like this whole front bed is daffodils. You can hardly see them in the grass, but they are there. There's like thousands of bulbs in here, you know? And some of them are really cool. They're those like spray daffodil ones with like the little tiny baby daffodil flowers. They're so adorable. Scabiosa. What else? There's lilies in here. You know, like there's bits of everything in here. And this is kind of like July's bouquets. So I want to wait until like after July, and then I'll probably start digging up some of the perennials, splitting them, putting them back in down at the bottom in landscape fabric. You know, that sounds like a lower maintenance solution to me. And then that opens up that space for the third greenhouse in that little area. You know, the more greenhouses, the better, because ultimately, like, what if I can do an entire greenhouse of like cool flower, like snapdragons and stuff like that, you know, maybe 2 beds, or I could have beds of like spinach going into the fall, right? Like, there's lots of options when you have lots of the space in the greenhouses. Here is our perennial area. So all this yarrow's doing good. The sedum's coming back pretty strong. It's a bit of a mess up here. It is what it is. Okay. Now let's go take a quick check at the chickens. So my plans for the chickens are evolving a little bit. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to get like a chicken tractor and like mobile fencing going this year to do everything that I wanted to do with them this year. But I'm basically going to use them to up my compost game. I would like to start some more like regenerative farming techniques. You know, like I would like to move towards no-till. I would like better soil fertility, which I think right now my soil is kind of dead from getting tilled so many. I'm back. Sorry, my phone stopped recording for some reason. I said it wasn't going to be any cuts, but there's obviously one. Okay, here's my chicken. I was like talking to my chickens for a minute before I realized I wasn't even recording anymore. Hi, ladies. So there's 9 chickens in here. This is kind of like going to be the system. So I'm going to bring in all of the, you know, material that I pulled out of the farm, and I'm going to put it, you know, kind of here. And then that's where I dump my chicken scraps as well. And then the idea is that material is just going to get it kind of like bloop, flopped, 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 and then taken out. And then over here, like the chickens can get around the backside of the coop. So they got a nice shady protected area back there. And then they have this area over here. And then here I'm going to make like some like a holding area for like compost, so that I can let them into it, but I can also keep them out of it. So basically I'm going to have to have like multiple piles for different ages of compost. And I'm going to start, you know, like putting them into the compost, letting them, sorry, I've been talking for a little while here. I'm going to, oh, here. Hi, ladies. You know you're supposed to lay in your boxes. Yeah? Oh, look at this good girl over here. Hello. Hi. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm trying to up my compost game. I'm trying to, I might use like compost tea to try to like bring some of that beneficial stuff back across the entire farm. So like once I get some really nice compost going, I can start making some compost tea. I got some seedlings outside. Okay, we're going to end off with seedling stuff, okay? Okay, pull this. Okay. Gotta open it up. I've been busy. This is why I haven't been making videos. I've been like working really hard on the farm, and I want to put my priorities on keeping the farm going. and not falling behind on the farm. Since this is my first year running it by myself, I am just like being very careful that I don't get like super behind on everything. Okay, so these have been out here for a few days now. The weather's been pretty warm. I got a few trays of Lizzie's from fall, but everything else is stuff that I've started. My larkspur didn't germinate very well inside, so I'm trying it outside. Dianthus, some of these are kind of failures. Some of them are like meh. Orlea, Rudbeckia, Nigella, Dara, bachelor buttons. I know bachelor buttons are a pain in the... Beep. Uh-oh. I just did a bad word. I know bachelor buttons are like a pain in the bum to harvest. But people really like their color. People really like that blue bachelor button. There's something about it that is like a really amazing punchy color that people point out in a bouquet. So I'm going after colors first. That's what my concept for the farm is like, find flowers that have the colors that I'm looking for. I think if I just grow, because bachelor buttons are easy to grow, if I just grow a ton of them and then I just hack them off and just, you know, don't worry about it. Like, I'm just like, use an entire plant for a single bouquet. That's fine. It's a good use. I think that they could be a valuable addition to my early spring bouquets, right? So I'm going hard on bachelor buttons. There's stuff here though that I have, like sweet peas. I don't really have a lot of experience with sweet peas. Feverfew, there's lots of feverfew in the farm, but I'm just trying to get more, especially the like double white one. I really love that one in bouquets. It's one of my favorite like filler flowers. So I have a couple trays of that going. There's some straw flowers. The seeds were old for a bunch of this stuff, and that's why the germination can be like pretty spotty. Sometimes with the straw flowers, it's like one color still had seeds that were good, and then another color, the seeds were basically toast. This is all status. A couple of goji berries for my perennial area down on my food. Also, there's 4 grapevines that I'm growing on that fence that I got. 2 reds and 2 green that are like table grapes, just like eating grapes. Here's my choy. They're gonna go into the ground pretty soon. Let me cover this back up, and then I will take you into the seedling room, and then we'll finish the video in there. Let me know if you like this type of video, because this is going to be a lot easier to make. My plan is in the future, I want to, in the future, like, I'm not going to have all this crazy labor with trying to like reorganize the farm. I'm just doing like projects that aren't necessarily like this year's farming task. It's more like infrastructure setup. And so next year, I won't have all that time that I'm putting into the infrastructure, and I can make videos more easily. I'm hoping maybe even by the end of the summer that like that can happen. Instead of pressing the camera flip around button, I just pressed the stop button. So, okay, into the seedling room. Ta-da! Okay, this isn't the seedlings. This is just the temperature. So it looks like right now it's like kind of in the low 60s in here. It's a little bit warmer over here under the lights. A lot of these just got seeded the other day. So like this whole rack is just like, the top bit is marigolds and the bottom bit is delphiniums. And then there's some tomatoes in there. Floss flower, just a couple of gingers and an artichoke. There's only 2 that have been popped up so far. There's a farm that sells at the farmer's market that grows ginger, and it looks so pretty. Some snaps. Those are getting ready to go get hardened off soon. Snaps, more snaps. More feverfew. A bunch of that because I like it. I think this is a perennial with like a pink flower. So it's growing really slowly, but that's fine. Some sorrel, I'm gonna put that down in the perennial area. Foxglove, that's an investment in the future. Lupins, there's a bunch of lupins outside, but I also started another round of them. These are artichokes that have been potted up, and some scabiosa, mostly the pink stuff and a bit of the blue. I'm really liking the workflow in this room. It's so awesome. Basically what I do is when I need to water, which is what I'm doing exactly after this video, I just unplug the rack and then I roll it, over here to my little like watering station. And I can do like 2 trays at a time. And then I just stand here and I just, put the rack right there. I don't have to walk anywhere. I don't have to worry about like the water because this is just like a, table that drains into the sink. The sink just drains straight out the wall. It's pretty simple. So I can wash dirt in it. This has been like working out well, like I've got it. I'm still working on like getting it more cleaned out, but I do have a pretty big open space going in here already. I am pretty happy with myself. And then over here, this is going to be like the drying rack. And then here's another wash station with another sink that just drains right outside. So, this sink is the more useful one. It's not really doing anything right now, but like, it's really big. So this one will make like washing tulips and stuff quite easy. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about 2 future plans, and then I'm going to stop this video. That's going to be it. The one plan is the final vision for the farm. So like after I get the greenhouses installed, there's one more project that I really want to start on, and it starts getting rid of this. This is no bueno. It just is a junk accumulating spot. And what I want to put here instead is a shipping container and then convert it into a walk-in cooler so that it's like, I'll get like a 20-foot one and then I'll convert the entire thing into a walk-in cooler. That'll be like an appropriate size for the farm. And then what I want to do is get a patio going from like right there to the entrance on the shipping container. And it's all at level. And then I can just roll those like rolling racks that I've got, like over here. So now I can have all the flowers, all the buckets here on racks like this, and I can just roll them directly from my workspace into the walk-in cooler. I could have like racks that are like, this is the market stuff. So in the morning, I don't have to do any sorting. I can just roll that rack right up to the back of my truck and start like loading my truck really easy. It's like, it's so important, in my opinion, that I feel like it has to get done as soon as I can. I'm just going to keep the pedal to the metal and like keep going with trying to get that walk-in cooler done, even though it's going to make my season like challenging because I'm not going to like take any time to like relax. But I know if I just keep pushing that I will get to a point where the farm runs like quite efficiently. And then, and only then, like until I eliminate all this like walking back and forth with like the like loading and unloading of the walk-in cooler, which is awkward to step up into and like duck down and hold buckets in like weird ways. That is like a lot of time and effort. I'm trying to minimize the number of calories that it takes to build the farm, to run the farm. Okay, and finally, the final thing that I want to talk about that I am super excited about, because I am feeling really confident. My health is good. I know I haven't been making videos, but that's not because I haven't wanted to. It's just that I've been like trying to prioritize the farm, which I knew everybody would understand when I finally did start making videos again. And you could see, like, I've been busy. I've been doing lots. It's basically just me doing all this. So, there's no one else. I just run out of time and energy at the end of the day. It would be different if it was just like running the farm, but like doing all the upgrades at the same time. Like yesterday I was just like working on the chicken coop for hours, and it doesn't really, like look substantially different. Like it functions a little bit better, but I'm like, I know that little bit of time that it saves me every time I have to interact with the chicken coop will like just keep adding up over time, right? And that's what I need to look at. I need to like finish projects. But anyways, I don't want to be rambling, and I am. The final thing that I wanted to talk about is I'm going to go really hard on Lysianthus next year. So those 4 trays of Lysianthus that I ordered from Ball, they came in, and like it's like perfect germination, and they for the most part look great, except for like some ones around the outside. That cost $500. That's like with shipping. That's $500. That's a lot of money. That's like a lot of money to recoup for sure. And so I'm like, I've got this seedling room, right? Like, look how awesome this place. This is like a sweet, sweet room. This is like so cool. I've got it set up so I can like heat it in the winter time. And so instead of buying trays of Lysianthus, I am going to figure out how to get Lysianthus to germinate, and I'm going to grow tons of Lysianthus. That's the plan. Because like Lysianthus looks so good in bouquets, right? They're really beautiful. And so like, why pay $500 for all those trays when I know I can figure out how to get them to germinate? They are tough. You got to start them in January. I am a little bit worried about like, what if the power goes out and I have to like heat this area? I'll come up with some contingency plans, no matter what. Like I won't let them. I'll make sure that I take care of them. But I basically went on a website the other day and I bought like bulk quantities of like 9 different colors or something like that of Lizzies, and I'm like, if I can just have like tons of Lysianthus to work with, I'm talking about like thousands, then, and if I can figure out how to grow them a little better, then like that's like summer bouquets like crazy, right? And they're high end, they look beautiful. They also can make like really easy bouquets if you just mix them with status. So it's good for if you have employees to be able to have them do productive stuff that's like easy to explain. Yeah, so Lysianthus hard. That's the last thing on this video. Okay, I am gonna go now because I could just like talk forever about the farm. I'm really excited. I'm doing really well. I am feeling like I'm still like intimidated by lots of things on the farm, doing it myself. Like I have to plant things out soon. I'm intimidated by that. I still have to like figure out the arranging and stuff. But like I think you can see with the systems that I'm putting in place that I'll get it. I'll figure it out. I know that I will. And so, stay tuned for more videos. I don't want to make it so that there's 6 weeks between videos. I really would like to get into like a video a week. And they may end up being like emergency videos like this. And then in the future, when I'm not doing all this infrastructure, I really do have a passion for making the vlogs, and I want to do more stuff like that again. It's just that the amount of time investment that they take can be really hard to find that time, So anyways, you know what I'm saying. I'll talk to you later. Bye.